So let's go to appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we look at what appreciation and gratitude is or is not, all right. First of all, it's a stopping to reflect on your sense of self from a compassionate, empathetic point of view.
Feel for you.
Self-compassion.
Absolutely. And self-compassion and empathy for yourself are one of the key elements. If you look at Kristin Neff's work.
Kristin Neff's work.
She's
UT.
at UT. Exactly. She is very well known on the compassion, self-compassion, connection point of view, and some great meditations.
Do you have an in with her? Can we get her on the show?
She may be able to get.
Goodness,
I'm training with her. She may know of me.
Man, I would love it to have Kristin Neff on the show. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
The work she's done on self-compassion
is incredible.
I've read a lot of it. You guys go look at her work. It's phenomenal.
It is. It is really phenomenal.
And it's that reframing. It's that, what is your relationship to yourself, to your history, to your experience.
Right. So to me, appreciation and gratitude is an elixir for the stress in today's world. The stress in today's world is multiplying at levels based on technology, stress, and information. I said this in our last podcast that we talked about. What are the things coming at us that are really creating problems? To me, being appreciative and grateful around you is a counterbalance to that, is a way to create a path down the middle. And there's a model in the law of attractions material, okay? And the law of attraction has a lot of materials in it. One of the materials is an appreciation gratitude meter for 68 seconds. It's a 68-second technique.
I think, did we do that? I think we might have done that at the end of our last.
We might have. And so
we shared gratitudes back and forth for a certain amount of time.
Exactly. But that shifts the mindset. So that appreciation gratitude, I like bringing it up. And one of the reasons I like bringing it up is particularly in relationships with couples who are long-term or with children. Okay.
I think about John Gottman. Two things. I think about John Gottman and the 5-to-1 positives to negatives.
Right.
To win. And it was about bids for connection, but I think you could look at that in the way that they view their relationship.
Absolutely.
The way they view their life. Are they having 5 positive experiences to every 1 negative?
Correct. And those experiences help to insulate you.
Yeah. Resilience makes their relationship more robust.
So if you're an adult with ADHD or within a marriage or a personal relationship, partnership, showing appreciation and gratitude every way you can.
I agree with that.
Is very much one of the ways to keep it balanced. And so a lot of times I'll talk with couples about what's your appreciation and gratitude meter like.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are some of the things like I'll be talking about at the conference here in October. It's like, how do you stay connected to someone else? Will you communicate with them? How can you communicate simply? Well, I can appreciate and be grateful for who you are.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
All the time. Thank you, honey, for picking up the glass I left for the umpteenth time at the back of the house when we're doing dishes or just thank you for bringing it
This
forward.
is a really important point, I think, with gratitude and appreciation, that it's not just, I like you. It's not just like you're good. There's a specificity to it that's important.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this. Yes. I kind of get back into a nonviolent communication thing.
It is.
It's the observation.
Right.
What did they do?
Right.
How did I feel when they did it?
Right.
What was the impact on my life?
Correct.
Get very specific.
Yes.
And then, the request would be like, keep doing more of that, or it's really observation, feeling. It met my need for something.
Right.
It met my need for love. It met my need for appreciation, for support.
And I've done a lot of couples work before, right? With a lot of couples with ADD, where either both ADD or one is ADD, or those in the disruptions there. And one of the things I'll ask them is, where is your appreciation and gratitude meter?
Right.
And I have never had anyone. There's almost very few always in NEFers in counseling, right? I've never had anyone say, oh, I've been appreciated enough. Oh, you don't have to give me any more gratitudes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a hug. It's like a handhold.
Yeah.
So appreciation and gratitude, I can't say enough about it. Keep doing it.
Another thing, I think it's really important to be intentional about appreciation and gratitude. I'm not a scientist. I'll preface it with this. But I have a belief that the human brain automatically weighs negative things higher. Mm-hmm. It stores them more readily. So anything that happens that's bad in your life, it's going to make a larger imprint in your mind, in your memory. So putting active intention and thoughtfulness around gratitude tends to then put that balance.
Yes.
It creates that balance between this thing where your brain's like making bad things big.
Right.
It's saying, oh, I'm going to intentionally make good things weigh the same.
Yes.
Or even overweigh.
And here we go back to homeostasis and balance again, Phil, because the reality is the survival instinct in the middle of the brain, the threat center, right, has been overactivated or overtaxed. And that's where that negativity being the bias comes from. The mind's going to remember something that was a threat or perceived as a threat.
Yeah.
If you can train this balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Negativity bias is what it's called.
Absolutely.
And so we're balancing out that negativity bias with gratitude, appreciation.
Yes, for yourself, for others, for your environment, for what you have, for who you are, for what you see, for where you live. I mean, name it.
Yeah.
And it's a way that, and over time, it becomes something that becomes natural.
Right.
You see the world that way.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure there's people watching this. There's definitely a ton of people out in the world that can find themselves in the dumps.
oh yeah, all the time. It's
Also
very
known
easy.
as depression.
Yes. And so even for me, if I look at my imposter syndrome is still probably one of my most robust defense, difficult kind of spaces in my life. It's natural, but it's because I'm comparing myself. I can throw into that immediately. And the first thing I do is I show appreciation and gratitude for whoever I'm feeling an imposter about.
Yeah.
Okay, whether it's another ADD author or someone else in life, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a kind person who's got this in their life. And then I'll go back to myself. These are the things I have. It's not about comparison. It's about union. It's about being able to connect to each other.
We can all be out there
Yes, we
doing
can.
cool stuff at the
Yes, we
same
can.
time.
So appreciation, gratitude, all this space, compassion, those pieces are critical. It's a great tool, part of this.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Should we do one more?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, this is a fun one for me. I don't know that I haven't done a lot of this, but I actually did do a podcast on this spontaneously because I used it as part of my ADHD town hall one time.
Is this in the complex, that podcast?
It's not in that podcast. This is on a different podcast. This is an ADD podcast from Nikki Kinzer called Taking Control of ADHD.
Okay.
She could be very interested in maybe having you on her show.
I'd love to.
Because she talks a lot about ADD and how people resource and what people are doing and what you're doing with your shininess of your own podcast.
Which is having James here. This is what I'm doing with my ADHD.
But if we just get this piece where we help each other.
Yeah.
And we support each other.
Okay.
So on this podcast, I talked about what's called mining the gems of your life history.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a tool for mining the gems of your life history. This would be a great one, kind of maybe even a final one to talk about here because it's a big one.
Okay.